Hey everyone. Okay, this is going to be a tutorial on how to do arsenic, either arsenic 1 or arsenic 2. The method is the same. So either of these two dyes can be done using the same principle, just, obviously the dye that goes with the dye. So the first step that you're going to do with cutting these dyes is you're going to work on just using the main pieces. Okay, we're not going to do the backgrounds because those are self-explanatory. You guys know how to cut a dye. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to run the border piece and you're going to run the main piece. So that's going to be this piece and that's going to be your main skull piece. Oops, my tape got a little bit stuck. Okay. So you're going to run these two. And then what you're going to get out of that is you're going to get your black and whites. And for this one, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my black sheet so you can kind of see what I'm doing. A little bit here. And then I want to show you this. When I cut the outline dye portion of it, when I cut this portion of it, using a 12-inch piece, you're going to notice that it doesn't cut the edges here. That's fine, okay? It's designed to overcut. Don't stress that the dye doesn't cut in perfection, all the way around. It's not designed that way. But one of the things I do want to show you too is if you cut it, you're also going to get two additional pieces. You're going to get your bottom piece that cuts off, and you're going to get your top piece that cuts off. Now, if you're innovative and you like different designs and different textures and everything else, this is a really pretty texture by itself. If you don't even take anything with it, this is a very pretty border. And no one would know what that border design was for or anything else. They would just see it as a really pretty border. And eventually there will be other pieces coming out later in our dye designs that will work with these pieces. Okay, they're not here yet, they're coming. And I'm not going to spoil the fun, but just know these pieces will be utilized later on down the road. Okay, we've got a lot coming. And same thing with the top. If you take it, turn it upside down. I would use this if I was doing a chess game, if I was doing something Victorian, if I was doing something that had, a fence quality to it or whatever. This could work very, very easily for that as well. So again, lots of different options on using different parts of what you cut out. But let's get back to the real thing and what this whole dye is actually meant for, okay? So let's get back to this guy. So I've went ahead and I cut this, and then I've also went ahead and cut my skulls and my bones. Now, for normal intents and purposes, you're going to, if you were using this as the border as it's intended and everything else, what you're going to do is you're going to use the bones and you're going to use the skulls. Okay, you're going to poke out all your little pieces here. You're going to adhere your skulls inside of here, and then you're going to poke out all your bones. I will tell you, these dyes, when you're using them for the first couple of times, don't always seem like they cut all the way through. They do. They just need a little bit of help, because if you're like me and you use a plate to death, your lines here can sometimes interfere in the cutting and not get a clean cut. It doesn't usually happen, but it can. So just be aware that if you have a very well-loved cut piece, you might have to, get a little bit of pressure to get out whatever extra little pieces that you're trying to get out of the inside of the cuts. But otherwise, it's all good. So again, normally you would punch out all of these, and I'm not going to do it all because you get the picture, yada, 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 with the skulls. Okay, now in this instance, I'm not going to actually use the top skulls because I want to show you how to use the extra piece in this set. Okay, and what I mean by that is, if I can find my little set, Okay, this die set has this little piece with it right here. And what this is going to do, this piece is going to give you the cutout for these bones. Okay, and there's two ways you can do this. You can go ahead and you can adhere down your bones, and then you can eyeball this and you can place this die where you think it's supposed to go. Okay, and where it looks good. Or you can come back in, and this is kind of another way that you can do it, is you kind of flip the die around a little bit, and you'll see that there's two little parts there, and what you want to look for is you want to marry those two pieces up on the back side here. Okay, you want to marry those up with this line because you want to use the proper lines for this die. Okay, it can go under just a little bit of a hair, and that's not a problem. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your little tape, once you get those lines married up, and you're going to go ahead and you're going to tape that down on your pieces. And you're going to want to kind of tape this down pretty well because you don't want this to move around. And believe it or not, it can move around once you put it on your plates. Okay? And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to take that onto your plate and onto your plate. Okay, and do your sandwich. By the way, this is the extended platform for the Cuttlebug. They do exist. You can still find them on Amazon and other places. eBay's a great place for them. Okay, so I'm going to show you that. If it's not perfect, don't stress. It's not that big of a deal. But what you should see happening is all your little heads should come off. Okay? And what you'll see, and this is a great example, because again, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect every time. What you'll see is when it's on the right place, it'll cut smooth against that top. When it's not and it shifts down, it's going to cut into your bones a little bit. Okay? Now, if that happens, it's not the end of the world. You can fix it. All you have to do is grab your trusty little scissors and then round those edges out yourself. Okay? It's not the end of the world. It can be fixed. If you're a perfectionist, run it again. It's entirely up to you. Okay? But going from that backwards to forwards, that's probably the best way to do it that I have found. Okay, so then what you've got is this. And then all you're going to do is you're going to come in here and you're going to add your bones. All right, just like that. And another thing, if you really want, you don't have to cut that loose if you don't want to. If you go back to this original design, if you cut it straight across and then just bring this up from the bottom, you could do that as well. No one will ever know. If you want to take and hide another piece of paper or something else down here, or make this gray longer and only cut this top part, no one will ever know. I promise. Okay, so what I mean by that is, let me take my die back here, and I will cut another gray piece as soon as I can find what I did with my gray. I have a habit of moving things where they're not supposed to be moved. I don't know why I do it, but I have a very good habit of doing it. All right, there it is. All right. So, if I take this gray again, and if I go ahead and take just this die, okay, just this die, and I run it, you'll get this piece. right? That's just running that die one time. And again, I can do the same thing, and I can just put the bones up just like that, and then I don't have to match up anything, okay? So it can be done both ways. It's entirely up to you on how you want to run that die through the system, okay? And you'll see this die is actually a little bit shorter than 12, and so again, all it is just going in and kind of shaving up your edges just a little bit, and no one will ever be the wiser. Okay, so just like that. There. So either way you want to do it, you can cut it from the first template or you can cut it from the second by itself. It's entirely up to you on how you want to go ahead and do that. But that's the way that the dies were actually designed to be used with one another, so that you could have just multiple ways of you know, giving your die some character, giving your layout some different perspective, and so on and so forth. Okay, so just like that. That's how she did it. I hope you like our dies, and I hope you'll see that we're going to try and continue to move forward and add to all of our different lines and come out with more partner sets that work with each other in ways that you normally would not expect from dies. So thanks for watching, and hope to see you soon.